Oh yeah, there's a pesky stop sign too that, you know, prevents you from shooting the ducks. Oh, look at this. Sniper. Sniper. Oh yeah. What's up guys, my name is Khan and we're back today in Scrap Mechanic, and we're back with another awesome update from the devs, possibly the coolest update in Scrap Mechanic since Pistons, and before that since Logic Gates, and it is of course the awesome Spud Gun update. So the devs have been teasing about this for a while on Twitter and in other social media and on their Steam page, and we finally have a working Spud Gun that you can carry around. It's not customizable yet. We've also got all sorts of cool stuff. You'll notice I don't have the custom con skin anymore, and that's because they did change a bunch of the character animations. You can see here we've got this awesome new running animation, and when we're not holding an object, we've got this sneaky crouch animation. We're just gonna sneak around here, and with the gun we can sneak around too, just all stealthy like. But it's really cool. We've got this awesome Spud Gun. They've also done a few other changes with the game as well. I'm not going to go into too many non-Spud Gun related details, but one thing, for example, is that you can go and look at terrain from any sort of distance, and now if you go up to the skybox, the fog doesn't completely cover the terrain anymore. You can still see the terrain from the top of the skybox, which is kind of nice. There's also a creation up there. That's probably one of Scrapman's flyers. Me and Scrapman were testing a few things together. We were looking at some things. We've also seemed to notice too, with the Spud Guns, there seems to be infinite range. He went on the one side of the map, and I was on the other side of the map, and I could still see some of his bullets making it across the map. Now there is, you can see there is a bit of a bullet drop, or a potato drop, I guess, because we are shooting potatoes. But it is a very long range Spud Gun, and it's really awesome. Now, what you can do with the Spud Gun, unfortunately, there is not destruction on everything yet, but there is destruction on a few things, most notably this new cardboard block, so we can place a wall there and just, you know, shoot it, and the blocks will disappear as we shoot them, so that's kind of cool. Also, glass, pre-existing glass is destructible as well, so if we add a layer of glass in front of that, same thing, the glass will break. It's got some cool little sound effects. Trees, you can hear we've got sound effects now on trees when we shoot them, and then of course rocks as well. So it's a really cool update. Now, of course, I did build something that uses the Spud Gun. Ever since they released this update, I've just been working constantly to get this creation done, because I really wanted to make something that, you know, kind of, as soon as I thought of Spud Guns, it was really the first thing I thought of, and the first thing actually Durf thought of as well. We were talking about it. Basically, everyone's really hyped for the Spud Guns, but before we do that, I want to show just a few things. So the Spud Guns, they can destroy the glass, they can destroy the cardboard. They can't really destroy anything yet. They can push objects. So if you have a free-floating object, for example, like a piece of wood, can't destroy this wood, but we can shoot it and it'll still move. So that's kind of cool. I'm sure we could make a Spud Gun powered vehicle. There is, of course, a vehicle mounted Spud Gun, or one that we can just, you know, mount to a plank like this, right? And we can have that hooked up to any sort of logic connection. So if we hook it up to a really simple, very fast loop, we can just see exactly how fast they can shoot. Now, they don't shoot infinite speed, so the Spud Gun has a finite amount of speed that it can shoot at. Like, it has its own reload speed. Same sense, the one in your hand. It's semi-automatic, which means every time you click, it will shoot a potato, but you can only click so fast. Even if you click faster, it'll only shoot at a certain rate. Same sense with this automated one. If we put it in a really simple XOR loop, and just tap it, you can see there, so that's actually the fastest shooting speed. This loop is pulsing way faster than that, but that's really the fastest speed we can get out of a single gun. But we can do all sorts of cool stuff with this, hook it up to sensors, and of course, you know, hook it up to vehicles, and it just makes everything so much cooler. I mean, we could take any vehicle, for example, you know, this vehicle, one of my favorite vehicles, the good old-fashioned piston walker, built a long time ago. And we can, of course, take this and just mount, you know, a Spud Gun to it. And look at this. This walker is now the deadliest thing in the known West. I mean, we can just, you know, no one's going to mess with us now with our super awesome Spud Gun. It's not even aiming at the ground. Okay. Well, this is good. Look at this. We're going to destroy all the humans. It opens up so many possibilities in Scrap Mechanic, and of course, I'd love to hear what you guys think. Let me know in the comments down below what you'd like to see made with these Spud Guns, with both the vehicle-mounted ones and then, of course, the player-mounted ones. And keep in mind, the Spud Guns can be used more than just destroying these blocks. We can also do some sort of, you know, activation with them. For example, the Spud Guns, you can see they're activating buttons. So every time you shoot a button, it can activate the button. You can shoot a switch and turn it on and off. You can't trigger a sensor yet. I was trying that. The devs did say they are working on that. They're going to eventually have it where you can trigger a sensor, but right now it will not trigger a sensor. It also won't compress suspension. So this is suspension on the least resistance. We shoot it, it won't do anything to the suspension. But if we have a block standing up on a free-floating bearing, it will knock the block over, you can see, and it's giving a little bit of kick. And then, of course, a piston, it won't do anything against a piston as well. So I did want to, you know, let you guys know, here's really the basic setup of the Spud Gun now. So keeping that in mind, let me know in the comments what you'd like to see. I'm really open to trying all sorts of cool stuff with the Spud Guns. It's been a really cool update just to play around with, and it really has me excited to build all sorts of crazy new stuff in Scrap Mechanic. I know whenever I want to build a gun, I've been using a lot of barrel launchers and launching barrels with catapults. And I mean, I don't care who you are, unless you use modded pistons, you just can't launch a barrel that far and that fast. And the ability to make all sorts of Spud Gun cannons is awesome. Or, you know, if you're really crazy, me and Scrapman decided to wire 4 Spud Guns up together and have them shooting each other's buttons. And, you know, you can get the Spud Gun useless machine, which will now just sit there spinning until eventually a potato misses a button. But really cool stuff. I'm super excited to hear what you guys have to think. And, of course, I'm super excited to play around more with this update. It won't even shut off. There we go. Okay, perfect. So anyways, awesome update. Really excited, really happy for it. And of course, now we're going to look at the best piece of equipment I could have made. So a long time ago, Scrapman and I made Whack-A-Mole. And as soon as I saw the Spud Gun update, I thought, man, this reminds me of those carnival shooting games. You know, the shooting games with like the little dancing ducks or like, you know, dancing targets. And you get this little BB gun and you're at the carnival and you want to win the giant pink stuffed teddy bear. And so you have to shoot as many targets as fast as you can or within a certain time or a certain number of shots or whatever. And so I thought, well, we can't exactly do it with a certain number of shots because, you know, there's unlimited ammo currently. And the best way to do it, I think, was with a certain amount of time. So I made this awesome carnival shooting target machine. So before I explain how this carnival machine works, we're just going to kind of play around. Now, the score might say 2 right off the bat, but it doesn't really matter. When we shoot this switch, it will reset the score to 0, and then when the doors open, it'll start the round. So we're just going to hit this. We have a 3-second delay, and then it'll start the round. And these timers across the bottom actually count the total time you have. Right now, they're each set to 10 seconds for a total of 2 minutes, but you could increase those as much as you want. The score counter will go up to 9.99. So if you want to go up to 12 minutes on the timers, you could do a full 12-minute round, but I figured a 2-minute round is good enough. I don't even think you can get 9.99 in 12 minutes. I don't know. We'll see how many I can get in 2 minutes, and then we'll go from there. So here we go. All right, shoot the, oh yeah, there's a pesky stop sign too that, you know, prevents you from shooting the ducks. Oh, look at this, sniper. Oh yeah. Oh, missed, nope. Oh, I've been practicing a lot. Oh my, couldn't even hit that one. It's very difficult sometimes. Come on, there we go. All right, perfect. Now the cool thing is each of the ducks you'll see is mounted on a piston, so even if you miss the duck and you try and shoot like the base that's holding up the duck, the potato will just go through the piston and you won't be able to actually get the point. So you have to hit the duck and nothing else but the duck. All this other stuff is just concrete barriers, kind of prevents you from doing that. All right, here we go. We're doing really terrible. We're only at 30 ducks. All right, time to go full auto. Oh my God, this is so bad. There we go, let's do it. Pesky stop sign again. I did make it too where originally I had it so each individual duck would pop itself back up, but I figured it's better to have it so that you have to shoot down all 10 before, oh, that stop sign, before, you know, you get to pull any one of them back up. That way you can't just sit there trying to shoot the same duck over and over again to get points. We're a little over halfway done the time, I think, more than halfway. It's cool too how it zooms in. That's kind of why I moved this so far back, so that when you zoom, you have a good distance to shoot stuff. I found if it was too close, you really just, you know, you could just kind of sit here like this and hip fire and shoot them all. But it seems to be pretty easy. I also noticed that their aimer moves out as well, as if you're losing accuracy, but it seems like every potato goes in the same spot. So I don't think there's any actual, any like bloom effect or anything. Like the bullets are always going in the same direction, but I'm not sure. We're almost out of time here. There's time. So it'll stop the whole system even if you shoot them now. You don't get any extra points for them. We can actually continue to shoot them all down and they'll loop back up. But 84 ducks in 2 minutes, so it's not bad. It's pretty slow. I feel like if you were really good, you should be able to get 1 per second for 120 seconds, for 120 points. 84, Yeah, if we made this 6 times longer, you'd still only get like 400 points or something. But if you guys do want to download this, make sure you download it on the workshop and let me know, of course, what your score was. Now, if you are going to use the Spud Gun update, you have to go into the test branch and enable the Spud Gun update. It's, you know, you have to go into your properties under your game and just go to the betas and enable the test branch. And then, of course, it gives you access to the Spud Gun and you can download this fantastic shooting range. But we're going to take a look at how it works. So it's pretty simple, really. There's a lot of logic to it, but it's really not that complicated. So there's 2 sets of logic, really. We'll just remove the floor here. I do have this whole thing saved, of course, so it's not a big deal. And this logic all under here is really just to keep score. So there's logic in the back that determines the whole lifting up of the ducks and moving them back and forth and all that. But the logic in here just keeps score and does the sound effects. So you'll notice every time we were shooting a duck, there was kind of a drum snare, and that's these yellow ones here. Every time you hit one of the duck sensors, it sends a pulse through one of these. These just kind of regulate the length of the pulse to be short, and then that, of course, gives you that instant hit effect from each of the sensors. And then, of course, this section here is your start timer. It goes, you know, 1, 2, 3, go. And this is your end timer notification. So really not much. It keeps score just by using these sort of gates here. So every time you hit a duck, it sends a pulse out to the system. And this just counts the first digit and then the second digit and the third digit. So there's 9 for each. There's 9 like memory bits for each digit, I guess. It doesn't use an actual binary counter. It's just a little bit easier to do it this way. So it just goes, you know, each digit, and then it uses an AND gate to go to the next digit. And when it gets to the end of this stack, it goes to the next stack. And then those signals go over to this digital display converter, which converts it to your score, which then gets put up on the board. And this is all really the simple stuff. I mean, this is just, it's a lot of connections, but it's really simple stuff to do. It's not very complicated. Now, all this feeds into from this back stuff. Now, this is the cool thing, and we'll take a look at how each individual duck works. But basically, each duck is on its own little rotating controller bearing, which is attached to this. And this controls the swaying movement back and forth of the duck. The piston is here. It doesn't move up or down. It's really just to act as a spacer. And it allows the ducks you see here to lean forward a little bit with this pipe piece resting up. That way, they don't fall back on their own naturally. Sometimes when you spawn this and the whole creation hits the ground, you'll get a few ducks that fall backwards. But when you hit the button, they all get pushed back up. But, you know, if you don't, then this little, if you don't have it leaning forward, sometimes just the swaying back and forth will actually knock them over. So I had to do that, added some lights, of course, to brighten it up. And you can see there, if we shoot all the ducks over, they'll get knocked down, still giving us points. And when they go to reset, we'll shoot that last duck here. You'll see that there's actually a piston behind each of these ducks. And even if they're swaying back and forth, the piston is able to... The piston, there we go, is able to just, as you see there, prop them all back up into position and good to go, and they continue to sway. Now, these little flippy guys, when you shoot one duck, it's really simple. Each duck, when you shoot it, the little lever arm gets stuck up under here, activating this sensor, and that lets you know that duck is hit. When all the ducks are hit, it resets all the ducks' positions, and each duck is stored on one of these memory bits in the back, just to let you know that it's been hit. That way, if the duck accidentally gets hit and somehow manages to get back up, which can happen if you hit it really hard, it'll sometimes spring back up, you can't double count the points for it. It'll only count the point once, and so if you already shoot a duck down, you don't have to reshoot it. Then, of course, the stop sign, same thing. It's just on 2 controller pieces, and it just slides out here and goes back and forth and up and down, and it goes at different speeds up and down and back and forth, so it does some sort of weird movement thing that's kind of unpredictable. I'm sure there's a pattern to it. I just really don't know what the pattern. Then, of course, when you're done, you can take the whole creation, you can turn off the switch and wait for the entire timer to run out if you wanted. Or the easiest solution is really just put it on a lift, drop it back on the ground. It'll close right away. Probably, yeah, you can see there, oh, knocked over a few ducks and kind of pulsed it in a weird, because if it knocks them over too quickly, like 2 ducks really quickly next to each other, it'll sometimes send a pulse. But it should be fine if we hit the switch. It'll clear the pulse, and then it should set all the ducks back up. You can see there. And now we're back into an awesome carnival shooting adventure. So I'm really happy with this. I was so excited to make this. It really was honestly one of my favorite things to do. I love the whack-a-mole game, and I've been always looking to make more mini games. And plus with the Spud Guns, you know, just something to practice your aim and have more of like a shooting gallery. But I would like to make a few other shooting type things. I think with the ability to shoot buttons, there's lots of ideas that we can have, all sorts of cool things we can do. I mean, this is obviously really simple. if we look at one duck, it's really quite a simple setup. This is one duck, and then I attach 5 of them together, and they all just go back and forth. You can see there, this one's automatically adjusting itself when it falls over. So if we shoot this one over, it'll fall over, the sensor triggers, and then that pushes it back up. So just taking one of these, duplicating it 5 times, and setting it up really made it super awesome. Of course, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and make sure you leave your suggestions. And while you're at it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. This update, I think, is going to be fantastic. I think there's so many cool things we can do. You know, stuff that used barrel shooters, I think we can go back and look at making cooler versions of stuff that actually uses potato cannons, because, you know, why not, right? But make sure you guys hit those buttons down below, and as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see y'all next time.